Okay.
And silent, calm before the storm, gold and diamond, jewels behind the throne, into the night, out of the dark, take to the sky, chasing the stars, all that we said, all that we are, waiting to fly. This is the start. Hide and seek, reason and rhyme, grand and glorious. Living the dream, yours and mine, euphoria. Hide and seek, reason and rhyme, grand and glorious. Living the dream, yours and mine, euphoria. Stone and feather, move outside your head. Now or never, strong in every step. Give me a sign, hitting the mark. Take to the sky, chasing the stars. Open your eyes, watching afar, waiting to fly. This is the start. Hide and seek, reason and rhyme, grand and glorious. Living the dream, yours and mine, euphoria.
Eh, Uh, let's see. Uh, reactives. Sorry guys, I am trying to get the reactives and stuff. I've got garlic with me. Where
Eyes
is
a garlic.
mine? Don't have a reactive here. Reading of Norse mythology because I want to give Sagril some time to sleep so he can rest up for tonight.
Oh, the mythology.
Yeah, I love the mythology. And let's do a funny.
Ooh, you like funny.
We're going to smoke the garlic.
Oh, wait, hold on. I is on fire.
Yes, you are.
I'm roasting my
Roasting
bits.
garlic by the mistletoe. uh, so, how is everybody doing today?
I'm toasty.
Anyway, also, we've got some news. We get to debut the new menu. Panda has just finished it.
Ooh.
Yes, would any I'm glad you're alive, Amar. I know your situation too, and I am so sorry for that. But would anyone like to see the new menus?
Is there
And
garlic
yes,
based
I
dishes
know
on
it's
there?
too early for Christmas carols. All right. So, drink menu. Let me go ahead and make that a little bigger. Wee, I'm covered. He. Shush, Amar. You shush. Anyway, this is the drink menu. Let me know when y'all are ready for the food menu. It's just a bottle of water, by the way.
Uh,
No, seriously, enslaved moisture is a bottle of water.
I just see enslaved moisture, Dr. Pepper, ginger ale, and then the essence of mandrake. I was like, what the hell? We
Uh,
went from 0 to 100.
oh, essence of mandrake is tea, but it has a mandrake brewing in the tea.
That poor mandrake.
I mean, it's life's purpose.
Okay, fair. What is my purpose? To be tea. Oh my
So if
god.
anyone has Jen's Night Sky is the hot chocolate. Is that what you want, Amar? Because I know that's what you wanted previously. It's
Excuse me.
available now, and it's pretty. So if you guys would like to buy anything from the drink menu, go for it. All right. First one is Jin's Night Sky. Bam. Let's see.
Oh, that looks so good.
I know, right? Hold on. Drink board. Let's move this a bit. Look how pretty that is. Look at that. I'll straight up tell you, like, Panda has outdone herself. Ah! Look how pretty that is. Like, these are the marshmallows right here. It's the moon and a cloud, and you have the stars are twinkling in it. Yeah, that is pretty. There you go, Amar. Go ahead and set it right there. That is for Amar. Lock that in. Is there anything else anybody would like from the drink menu? Put it on the table proper. Here we go. Let's see. Boop. Amar, garlic, demon, Aslan, lightning, and rival. Y'all are being awfully quiet. Yeah, yeah, I understand. All
Let's
right,
see.
so
Hold on. I know I was looking at multitasking.
all
You
right.
know, what's the Phoenix?
Well, you got to
You know
order it
what?
to
I'm just
find
gonna
out
order.
now, don't you?
I'm. I was gonna say I'm just gonna order it as soon as I find the thing because I can't navigate basic fucking menus. Hmm.
Yes, if you guys
Yeah.
want to figure out which one or what they're, the Phoenix Brew is actually an Irish coffee, by the way. But if you want to
Oh, I
see what
need
it looks like,
20 of those.
hey Anubis, how's it going? We are debuting the new menu. It is live. All right, garlic butter would like the Phoenix Brew.
I need about 50.
Boop. All right, it's behind here. Here we go. There you go, garlic. That is the Phoenix Brew. So that is an Irish
Ooh.
coffee. Here we go. Set it right next to the Jin's Night Sky. So I'm showing off the drink menu first before we move on to the food menu. So if there's anything you guys would like, go ahead and lock your stuff in it. Nectar of the Gods. All right, we're doing coffee.
That makes so much sense.
I know, right? Now, the thing is, do you want an iced coffee or do you want the hot coffee? Sam's money. Is possible to get the decaf? Yeah, sure, it is absolutely possible. All right, so you want iced nectar of the gods. Boom. Iced nectar of the gods. Nice and golden.
Ooh.
Yep. Here we go. And now we want a decaf Minotaur brew. Now you want it iced or do you want it hot? Because the Minotaur's brew is actually was it a frappuccino? Because that's milk based, I think. Or is it no, it's a latte. Because I think. I'm having trouble with communication because phone is crap. Aw, sorry to hear that, Amar. Yeah, see, Panda drew it. So you have a latte. So do you want the iced or do you want the hot, Anubis? Hot, please. Tons of caramel sauce. I absolutely did. So bam, here's your Minotaur brew, Anubis. Nice and hot for you.
And then a masterpiece of a drink.
It is absolutely amazing. All right, let me know if you guys are ready to move on to the onto the foods. Let's
All
see.
the food. How much food? All the food.
Yeah, I got a lot of food here. Oop. Let's
But
put
good
that
thing
right
I
there.
had dinner.
I know, right? Okay, let's go ahead and unlock these so I can move them a little bit. Uh, Legends Night Sky. Let's move you a little bit over here.
But Anubis, when I get them all? So you can handle all that liquid.
That's gonna make you pee like a racehorse. I see some non-coffees I want to try. Hold off for another time. You guys should have a BG where the menu, if, huh?
A background with the menu showing, I think is what she means.
Oh, so, you mean like this? Hello. Hey, Helios, rated with 5 viewers. Welcome, Raiders. I'm just
A
getting
wild
everybody
guess.
started. We're going to be reading some Norse mythology in a bit, but we are debuting the new menu at the moment. You made something special for him. I am not bringing goat food here. No, sorry about that. Oh, Crimson DJ, I need to show he actually likes the menu too. So, Early Panda. All right. And I'm sorry guys, I cannot hear the stream stuff or the stream elements. For some reason, it's not doing anything. All right,
Weird.
give me a moment. Uh, let's see. Nectar of the Gods. Here you go. Nectar of the Gods is a coffee. Boom. All right, Nectar of the Gods. So we've got two Nectar of the Gods. We have Phoenix Brew, Minotaur Brew, and it is a very, well, actually, no, it's golden because it is the nectar of the gods. So it's not actually blonde, but yeah. There you go, DJ. That's so. This is the menu, and Anubis wanted it to be posted somewhere, so here we go. It is posted above the fire.
Above
Now,
the roasted garlic.
let's go ahead and move on to the food menu. Make that visible, and I need to make it bigger so everyone can actually read it. There you go. Was told you weren't allowed to order your usual for a bit. Hey John, how's it going? We're debuting our new menu. And I've also got a few doing all right. Uh it is pretty, isn't it? And I've actually got a
Mm,
few references to certain things. Let's see if anyone picks up on it. Silver for monsters, steel for humans. If you know, you know. But Mana potion, got it. Let's see. Also for the ramen, we do have chopsticks. Okay, so the mana cake. Boop. Here's your mana cake. What are you laughing at, Amar? Boom, locked in.
no,
All right.
no one here could very well be anything.
Kitsune Manju. Got it. Boop. Look how cute that is. It is so cute. Oh, okay. You ordered my actual favorite thing on this menu. Let's see. Turtle shell potato. Oh, for me. Oh, okay. You know what? Okay. Thank you. I gotta scroll down and find it. What the hell did I do with it? Changeling, got it. Boop.
Hmm. A lot of things sounds really good.
I know, right? The changeling cake changes colors. Boop. There it is. By the way, ah, this one. Look at that. Turtle shell. All right, that's literally yeah, it's gay cake. Loaded baked potato soup in a bread bowl. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Oh my god. This is
Ooh.
my favorite thing on the menu. Oh my god, it's amazing. That'll be Dragonfire ramen. Got it. Do you want chopsticks with that? You don't have to do a redeem order. I'd like. Yar. All right. Hey, look. I got Akriath.
That's hilarious.
I know, right? Well, Dragonfire. It is spicy ramen. So I'll put him right here. I gotta move the menu board. Because I want the art to be seen with the chopsticks. You don't eat the dragon. Go. Chopsticks. Want a gremlin. Alright. So, alpaca.
But but I heard dragons are tasty.
They're tasty. So it's actually, this is our version of the dorayaki. Look at that thing. I laughed
Can't do the menu.
so
There it
hard when I saw this. Look at this. It is amazing.
That's beautiful. I love it.
It is amazing. And honestly, I thought you were going to get it first. This is the most amount of food we've had on screen in a while. Is there anything else anybody wants before I start? I will drown in food because if you look at like my background here, it is literally a tavern.
Food, glorious food. One more. That doesn't mean we can't just cut a chunk off.
I mean, if he comes within biting distance, that's not our fault if we take a bite. Did someone buy Siren's Tail? And it's on the menu there. Siren's Tail is right here. Okay, she said someone got it. Alright, so I gotta get Siren's Tail. Boop. Siren's Tail.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. John Riley ordered it.
Okay. Well,
It's
I
not.
think it's a takoyaki.
It looked like a deep fried Magikarp, but I love it.
You can see it when you order it, so next time?
Mm.
So, what I'm gonna do is again. Oh, yeah, I'd like to order. Yeah, okay, yeah, you can see it. Deep fried Magikarp. All right, pixie dust. There we go. Ramen with glitter, effectively.
Glitter ramen. I love it, but it looks so good too.
It does, doesn't it? Think
What
it.
the wow?
The shiny stuff is pixie dust. I mean, look, pixie dust. It makes you fly.
I don't know. I
Think
don't know if
happy
I want to fly
thoughts.
to wherever that dust takes me.
Think happy thoughts. Child, what are you doing? Do you want to go outside? Huh? No, you're just going to destroy shit. I can't watch you. About to ask if the dust was. Yes, the dust is edible.
Hope so. Not somebody's about to have a bad day.
Well, if she has a happy thought while she's eating it, yes, she will start to float. I mean, hey, we all float down here, right? But yes. Dragon. Hey, Pirata. Let's see.
We all float down here, Anubis.
And a unicorn cake. All right. By the way, unicorn cake is actually a birthday cake. This is our version of the birthday cake. I can never. Oh, okay, cool. So you have unicorn cake, um, dragonfire,
Dragonfire
nectar of the
and
gods.
nectar. Oh my god, a full course meal going. Respectable.
All right, so I gotta add more here. So
What did you do
it
to the
is,
unicorn?
it is fondant. All right, we did nothing to the unicorn.
I did, but that's unrelated.
Oh my lord. All right. So do you want the nectar of the gods cold or hot? Not melt a unicorn. Chef pick, got it. All right. There's another dragonfire. I need to get so chef's pick on nectar of the gods. Iced nectar of the gods.
Excellent.
Now you go to your corner. Enjoy your corner. All right, so I forgot to do something.
I forget to do everything. But what you forget?
Resume the timer. Actually, hold on. Pause. 65 minutes. Um, so resume the timer, which I forgot to do. And where is it? Subathon info.
Excuse me.
And since there's only an hour left, I shit, where'd it go? Oh, I have boop.
The clock is ticking.
It is ticking. Okay, I can just turn that off. Turn that off. Eating my soup and coffee. Thanksgiving pumpkin. Got it. So much food. And it was seen
That's
rain.
wonderful.
Okay, yeah, I understand. All right, so let's see. Food menu board. Boop. We're just gonna set them. Let me see. Make them about the same size. Put that right there. Actually, I gotta bring them down. Sorry for that's okay, Anubis, you're fine. Anyway, so surrounded by all this stuff. Now I'm going to get to what I actually was going to. So it's going to be reading some Norse mythology tales. Now, I have also once I get back to reading, I had a poll in the Discord server of things that I will be reading next, and Princess Bride won out. Like, overwhelmingly. The next thing I will be reading is Princess Bride. Once I get my hands on my physical copy again, I don't know where it is at the moment. But the Princess Bride and what else? What was next?
See if I pull it up.
Let's see. Let me look it up. Where is it?
Oh, it's suggestion.
Yeah.
Uh, yep. Alice's
Story
Adventures in
Corner, story
Wonderland.
suggestion. It's going to be Princess Bride, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, The Secret Garden, and then The Merry Adventures of Robin Hood. In that order. Yeah, literally. Princess Bride won by an absolute landslide. So, now let me go ahead and start. We're going to, for the Norse mythology, we're going to start in the beginning. Yeah, I know, right? I will be reading Princess Bride after the subathon is over. Well, yeah, yeah, it is. It's going to be a while before the secret garden gets read, and I am sorry, Anubis, but we will get there. So, Chapter 1: The Beginning. Although the Aryan inhabitants of northern Europe are supposed by some authorities to have come originally from the plateau of Iran, in the heart of Asia, the climate and scenery of the countries where they finally settled had great influence in shaping their early religious beliefs, as well as in ordering their mode of living. The grand and rugged landscapes of northern Europe, the midnight sun, the flashing rays of the aurora borealis, the ocean continually lashing itself into fury against the great cliffs and icebergs of the Arctic Circle, could not but impress the people as vividly as the almost miraculous vegetation, the perpetual light, and the blue seas and skies of their brief summer season. It is no great wonder, therefore, that the Icelanders, for instance, to whom we owe the most perfect records of this belief, fancied in looking about them that the world was originally created from a strange mixture of ice and fire. Northern mythology is grand and tragical. Its principal theme is the perpetual struggle of the beneficent forces of nature against the injurious, and hence it is not graceful and idyllic in character, like the religion of the sunny south, where the people could bask in perpetual sunshine, and the fruits of the earth grew ready to their hand. It was very natural that the dangers incurred in hunting and fishing under these inclement skies, and the suffering entailed by the long cold winters, when the sun never shines, made our ancestors contemplate cold and ice as malevolent spirits, and it was with equal reason that they invoked with special fervor the beneficent influences of heat and light. When questioned concerning the creation of the world, the northern skalds, or poets, whose songs are preserved in the Eddas and Sagas, declared that in the beginning, where there was as yet no earth, nor sea, nor air, when darkness rested over all, there existed a powerful being called All-Father, whom they dimly conceived as uncreated as well as unseen, and that whatever he willed came to pass. In the center of space there was, in the morning of time, a great abyss called Ginunga Gap, the cleft of clefts, the yawning gulf, whose depths no eye could fathom, as it was enveloped in perpetual twilight. North of this abode was a space or world known as Niflheim, the home of myths and darkness, in the center of which bubbled the exhaustless spring Vergelmir, the seething cauldron, whose waters supplied 12 great streams known as Elevigar. As the water of these streams flowed swiftly away from its source and enclosed the cold blasts from the yawning gulf, it soon hardened into huge blocks of ice, which rolled downward into the immeasurable depths of the great abyss with a continual roar like thunder. South of this dark chasm, and directly opposite Niflheim, the realm of mist, was another world called Muspelheim, the home of elemental fire, where all was warmth and brightness, and whose frontiers were continually guarded by Surtur, the flame giant. This giant fiercely brandished his flashing sword, and continually sent forth great showers of sparks, which fell with a hissing sound upon the ice blocks in the bottom of the abyss, and partly melted them by their heat. Great Surtur, with his burning sword, southward at Muspel's gate kept ward, and flashes of celestial flame, life-giving, from the fire world came. Valhalla, J. C. Jones. Ymir and Audhumla. As the steam rose in clouds, it again encountered the prevailing cold, and was changed into rime or hoarfrost, which, layer by layer, filled up the great central space. Thus, by the continual action of cold and heat, and also probably by the will of the uncreated and unseen, a gigantic creature called Ymir or Orgelmir, seething clay, the personification of the frozen ocean, came to life amid the ice blocks in the abyss. As he was born of rime, he was called a Rimthurs, or ice giant. In early times, when Ymir lived, was sand nor sea, nor cooling wave, no earth was found, nor heaven above, one chaos all, and nowhere grass. Samun's Edda, Henderson's translation. Groping about in the gloom in search of something to eat, Ymir perceived a gigantic cow called Audhumla, the Nourisher, which had been created by the same agency as himself, and out of the same materials, hastened towards her. Ymir noticed with pleasure that from her udder flowed 4 great streams of milk, which would supply ample nourishment. All his wants were thus satisfied, but the cow, looking about her for food in her turn, began to lick the salt off a neighboring ice block with her rough tongue. This she continued to do until first the hair of a god appeared, and then the whole head emerged from its icy envelope, until by and by Buri, the producer, stepped forth entirely free. While the cow had been thus engaged, Ymir, the giant, had fallen asleep, and as he slept, a son and daughter were born from the perspiration under his armpit, and his feet produced the 6-headed giant Thrungilmir, who, shortly after his birth, brought forth in his turn the giant Bergelmir, from whom all the evil frost giants are descended. Under the armpit grew, 'tis said of Rimthurs, a girl and boy together, foot with foot begat, and that wise Jotun a six-headed son. Semon's Edda. Jotun, Vili, and Ve. When these giants became aware of the existence of the god Buri, and of his son Born, whom he immediately produced, they began waging war against them, for as the gods and giants represented the opposite forces of good and evil, there was no hope of their living together in peace. The struggle continued, evidently for ages, neither party gaining a decided advantage until Bor married the giantess Vesla, daughter of Bolthorn, the Thorn of Evil, who bore him three powerful sons, Odin, Spirit, Vili, Will, and Ve, Holy. These three sons immediately joined their father in his struggle against the hostile frost giants, and finally succeeded in slaying their deadliest foe, the great Ymir. He sank down lifeless, the blood gushed from his wounds in such floods that it produced a great deluge, in which all his race perished, with the exception of Bergelmir, who escaped in a boat and went with his wife to the confines of the world. All the race of Ymir thou didst drown, save one, Bergelmir. He on shipboard fled thy deluge, and from him the giant sprang, Balder dead. Here he took up his abode, calling the place Jotunheim, the home of the giants, and here he begat a new race of frost giants, who inherited his dislikes, continued the feud, and were always ready to sally forth from their desolate country and raid the territory of the gods. The gods, in northern mythology called Aesir, pillars and supporters of the world, having thus triumphed over their foes, and being no longer engaged in perpetual warfare, now began to look about them, with intent to improve the desolate aspect of things, and fashion a habitable world. After due consideration, Bor's son rolled Ymir's great corpse into the yawning abyss, and began to create the world out of its various component parts. The creation. Hello. Oh, thank you, Helios. I greatly appreciate that.
Excellent.
You're a turd.
More power.
Let's see. We are zero point 0.5 subs away from a tweet. Sagral's gonna have to do that because I don't have a Twitter. Okay, so the creation of Earth. Out of the flesh they fashioned Midgard, Metal Garden, as the Earth was called. This was placed in the exact center of the vast space, and hedged all around with Ymir's eyebrows for bulwarks or ramparts. The solid portion of Midgard was surrounded by the giant's blood or sweat, which formed the ocean, while his bones made the hills. his flat teeth the cliffs, and his curly hair the trees and all vegetation. Well pleased with the result of their first efforts at creation, the gods now took the giant's unwieldy skull and poised it skillfully as the vaulted heavens above the earth and sea. Thank you, Helios. Then scattering his brains throughout the expanse, beneath they fashioned from them the fleecy clouds. Of Ymir's flesh was earth created, of his blood the sea, of his bones the hills, of his hair trees and plants, of his skull the heavens, and of his brows the gentle powers formed Midgard for sons of men. But of his brain the heavy clouds are all created. Norse mythology. To support the heavenly vault, the gods stationed the strong dwarfs Nordri, Sudri, Ostri, Westri, and at its four corners, bidding them sustain it upon their shoulders, and from them the 4 points of the compass received their present names of North, South, East, and West. To give light to the world thus created, the gods studded the heavenly vault with sparks secured from Muspelheim, points of light which shone steadily through the gloom like brilliant stars. The most vivid of these sparks, however, were reserved for the manufacture of the sun and moon, which were placed in beautiful golden chariots. And from the flaming world where Muspel reigns, thou sentest and fetchest fire and maddest lights, sun, moon, and stars, which thou hast hung in heaven, dividing clear the paths of night and day. Balder Dead. When all these preparations had been finished, and the steeds Arvakr, the early waker, and Alsvin, the rapid goer, were harnessed to the sun chariot, the gods, fearing lest the animals should suffer from their proximity to the ardent sphere, placed under their withers great skins filled with air or with some refrigerant substance. They also fashioned the shield Svalin the cooler, and placed it in front of the car to shelter them from the sun's direct rays, which would else have burned them and the earth to a cinder. The moon car was, similarly, provided with a fleet steed called Allsvider, the All-Swift, but no shield was required to protect him from the mild rays of the moon. The chariots were ready, the steeds harnessed, and impatient to begin what was to be their daily round. But who should guide them along the right road? The gods looked about them, and their attention was attracted to the two beautiful offspring of the giant Mudilfari. He was very proud of his children, and had named them after the newly created orbs, Mani, the moon, and Sol, the sun. Sol, the sun maiden, was the spouse of Glow, who was probably one of Surtur's sons. The names provided to the happily bestowed, as the brother and sister were given the direction of the steeds of their bright namesakes. After receiving due counsel from the gods, they were transferred to the sky, and day by day they fulfilled their appointed duties and guided their steeds along the heavenly paths. Known that Mundilfar is Height, father to the moon and sun, age on age shall roll away, while they mark the months and days. Havam, Havamal. The gods next summoned Not, Night, a daughter of Norvi, one of the giants, and entrusted to her care a dark chariot drawn by a sable steed. Brimfaxi. Frostmane, from whose waving mane the dew and hoarfrost drop down upon the earth. Rimfaxi is the sable seed, from the east, who brings the night, fraught with the showering joys of love, as he champs and the foamy bit. Drops of dew are scattered round to adorn the vales of earth. Vafthrudnes Vafthrudnes Mal, the goddess of night, had thrice been married, and by her first husband, Nagelfrey, she had had a son named Od. By her second, Anar, a daughter, Jord, earth. And by her third, the god Dellinger, dawn. Another son, of radiant beauty, was now born to her, and he was given the name of Dag, day. As soon as the gods became aware of this beautiful being's existence, they provided a chariot for him also, drawn by the resplendent white steed, Skinfaxi, shining mane, from whose mane bright beams of light shone forth in every direction, illuminating all the world, and bringing light and gladness to all. Forth from the east, up the ascent of heaven, Day drove his courser with the shining mane, Balder dead. But as evil always treads close upon the footsteps of good, hoping to destroy it, the ancient inhabitants of the northern regions imagined that both sun and moon were incessantly pursued by the fierce wolves Skull, repulsion, and Hati, hatred, whose sole aim was to overtake and swallow the brilliant objects before them, so that the world might again be enveloped in its primeval darkness. Skull the wolf is named, that the fair-faced goddess to the ocean chases. Another haughty height, he is Hrodvitner's son. He the bright maid of heaven shall precede. Somanna's Edda. At times, they said, the wolves overtook and tried to swallow their prey, thus producing an eclipse of the radiant orbs. Then the terrified people raised such a deafening clamor that the wolves, frightened by the noise, hastily dropped them. Thus rescued, sun and moon resumed their course, fleeing more rapidly than before, the hungry monsters rushing along in their wake, lusting for the time when their efforts would prevail, and the end of the world would come. For the northern nations believed that as their gods had sprung from an alliance between the divine element, Bor, and the mortal Vesla, they were finite, and doomed to perish with the world they had made. But even in this early morn, faintly foreshadowed was the dawn of the fierce struggle deadly shook, which would yet end in Ragnarok, when good and evil, death and life, begin now, and then their strife. Valhalla. Mani was accompanied also by Hyuki, the waxing, and Bil, the waning, moon. Two children whom he had snatched from earth, where a cruel father forced them to carry water all night. Our ancestors fancied they saw these children, the original Jack and Jill, with their pale, darkly outlined upon the moon. The gods not only appointed sun, moon, day, and night to mark the procession of the year, but also called evening, midnight, morning, forenoon, noon, and afternoon to share their duties, making summer and winter the rulers of the seasons. Summer, a direct descendant of Svasad the mild and lovely, inherited his sire's gentle disposition, and was loved by all except Winter, his deadly enemy, the son of Vindsol, himself a son of the disagreeable god Vasad. the personification of the icy wind. Vindsol is the name of him who begat the winter's god. Summer from Sathar sprang. Both shall walk the way of years till the twilight of the gods. Vafthrûni's Mall. The cold winds continually sweep down from the north, chilling all the earth, and the Northmen imagined that these were set in motion by the great giant Hraesvelgar, the corpse swallower, who, clad in eagle plumes, sat at the extreme northern verge of the heavens, and that when he raised his arms or wings the cold blasts started forth and swept ruthlessly over the face of the earth, blighting all things with their icy breath. Hraesvelgar is the name of him who sits beyond the end of heaven, and winnows wide his eagle wings, whence the sweeping blasts have birth. Vafthrûni's Mall. While the gods were occupied in creating the earth and providing for its illumination, a whole host of maggot-like creatures had been breeding in Ymir's flesh. These uncouth beings now attracted divine attention. Summoning them into their presence, the gods first gave them forms and endowed them with superhuman intelligence, and then divided them into two large classes. Those which were dark, treacherous, and cunning by nature were banished to Svartalfaheim, the home of the black dwarfs, situated underground, whence they were never allowed to come forth during the day, under penalty of being turned into stone. They were called dwarfs, trolls, gnomes, or kobolds, and spent all their time and energy in exploring the secret recesses of the earth. They collected gold, silver, and precious stones, which they stowed away in secret crevices, where they could withdraw them at will. The remainder of these small creatures, including all that were fair, good, and useful, the gods called fairies and elves, and they sent them to dwell in the airy realm of Alfheim, home of the light elves, situated between heaven and earth, whence they could flit downward whenever they pleased, to attend to the plants and flowers, sport with the birds and butterflies, or dance with the silvery moonlight on the green. Odin, who had been the leading spirit in all these undertakings, now bade the gods, his descendants, follow him to the broad plain called Idawald, far above the earth, on the other side of the great stream Ifing, whose waters never froze. Ifing's deep and murky wave parts the ancient sons of earth. From the dwelling of the Goths open flows the mighty flood, nor shall ice arrest its courage while the wheel of ages roll. Vafthrûni's Mall. In the center of the sacred space, which from the beginning of the world had been reserved for their own abode, and called Asgard, home of the gods, the 12 Aesir gods and 24 Aesingr goddesses, all assembled at the bidding of Odin. Then was held a great council, at which it was decreed that no blood should be shed within the limits of their realm, or peace stead, but that harmony should reign there forever. As a further result of the conference, the gods set up a forge where they fashioned all their weapons and the tools required to build the magnificent palaces of precious metals, in which they lived for many long years in a state of such perfect happiness that this period was called the Golden Age. Although the gods had from the beginning designed Midgard, or Manaheim, as the abode of man, there were at first no human beings to inhabit it. One day Odin, Vili, and Ve According to some authorities, or Odin, Hoenir, the Bright One, and Loder, or Loki, Fire, started out together and walked along the seashore, where they found either two trees, the ash, Ask, and the elm, Embla, or two blocks of wood, hewn into rude semblances of the human form. The gods gazed at first upon the inanimate wood in silent wonder. Then, perceiving the use it could be put to, Odin gave these logs souls. Hoenir bestowed motion and senses, and Loder contributed blood and blooming complexions. Thus endowed with speech and thought, and with power to love and to hope and to work, and with life and death, the newly created man and woman were left to rule Midgard at will. They gradually peopled it with their descendants, while the gods, remembering they had called them into life, took a special interest in all they did, watching over them, and often vouchsafed their aid and protection. Allfather next created a huge ash called Yggdrasil, the tree of the universe, of time, or of life, which filled all the world, taking root not only in the remotest depths of Niflheim, where bubbled the spring, the beginning Bergelmir, but also in Midgard, near Mimir's well, the ocean, and in Asgard, near the Urdar fountain. From its three great roots the tree attained such a marvelous height that its topmost bough, called Lerad, the Peace-giver, overshadowed Odin's hall, while the other wide-spreading reaches or branches toured over the other worlds. An eagle was perched on the bough Lerad, and between his eyes sat the falcon Vedfulnir, sending his piercing gazes down into heaven, earth, and Niflheim, and reporting all that he saw. As the tree Yggdrasil was ever green, its leaves never withering, it served as pasture ground, not only for Odin's goat Heidrun, which supplied the heavenly mead, the drink of the gods, but also for the stags Dane, Dvalin, Duneyr, and Durathr, from whose horns honeydew dropped down upon the earth, and furnished the water for all the rivers in the world. In the seething cauldron Bergelmir, close to the great tree, a horrible dragon, called Nidhugg, continually gnawed the roots, and was helped in his work of destruction by countless worms, whose aim it was to kill the tree, knowing that its death would be the signal for the downfall of the gods. Through all our life a tempter prowls malignant, the cruel Nidhugg from the world below. He hates that Asa light whose rays benignant on the hero's brow and glittering sword bright glow. Vikings' Tales of the North. Scampering continually up and down the branches of the trunk of the tree, the squirrel Ratatosk, branch borer, the typical busybody and tale-bearer, passing its time repeatedly to the dragon below the remarks of the eagle above, and vice versa, in the hope of stirring up strife between them. It was, of course, essential that the tree Yggdrasil should be maintained in a perfectly healthy condition, and this duty was performed by the Norns, or Fates, who daily sprinkled it with the holy waters from the Urdar fountain. This water, as it trickled down to earth through the branches and leaves, supplied the bees with honey. From either edge of Niflheim, arching high above Midgard, rose the sacred bridge, Bifrost, Asabru, the rainbow, built of fire, water, and air, whose quivering and changing hues it retained, and over which the gods travelled to and fro to the earth or to the Urdar well, at the foot of the ash Yggdrasil, where they daily assembled in council. The gods arose, and took their horses, and set forth to ride o'er the bridge Bifrost, where is Heimdall's watch, to the ash Yggdrasil and Ida's plain. Thor came on foot, the rest on horseback rode. Balder dead. Of all the gods Thor only, the god of thunder, never passed over the bridge, for fear lest his heavy tread or the heat of his lightnings would destroy it. The god Heimdall kept watch and ward there night and day. He was armed with a trenchant sword, and carried a trumpet called Gjallarhorn, upon which he generally blew a soft note to announce the coming or going of the gods, but upon which a terrible blast would be sounded when Ragnarok should come, and the frost giants of Surtur combine to destroy the world. Surt from the south comes, with flickering flame, shines from his sword, the Valgod's son. The stony hills are dashed together, the giantesses totter, men tread the path of hell, and heaven is cloven. Samud's Edda. Now although the original inhabitants of heaven were the Aesir, they were not the sole divinities of the northern races, who also recognized the power of the sea and wind gods, the Vanas, dwelling in Vanaheim, and ruling their realms as they pleased. In early times, before the golden palaces in Asgard were built, a dispute arose between the Aesir and the Vanas, and they resorted to arms, using rocks, mountains, and icebergs as missiles in the fray. But discovering ere long that in unity alone lay strength, they composed their differences and made peace, and to ratify the treaty they exchanged hostages. It was thus that the Van Niord came to dwell in Asgard with his two children, Frey and Freya, while the Asa Hoenir, Odin's own brother, took up his abode in the Vanaheim. Chapter 2. Odin. Odin, Wotan, or Woden, was the highest and holiest god of the northern races. He was the all-pervading spirit of the universe, the personification of the air, the god of universal wisdom and victory, and the leader and protector of princes and heroes. As all the gods were supposed to be descended from him, he was surnamed Allfather, and as eldest and chief among them he occupied the highest seat in Asgard, known by the name of Lidskjalfn. This chair was not only an exalted throne, but also a mighty watchtower from whence he could overlook the whole world and see at a glance all that was happening among gods, giants, elves, dwarves, and men. From the hall of heaven he rode away to Lidskjalf and sat upon his throne, the mount from whence his eye surveys the world, and far from heaven he turned his shining orbs to look on Midgard and the earth and men. Balder dead. But none but Odin and his wife the Queen Frigga were privileged to use this seat, and when they occupied it they generally gazed towards the south and west, the goal of all the hopes and excursions of the northern nations. Odin was generally represented as a tall, vigorous man, about 50 years of age, either with dark curling hair or with a long gray beard and bald head. He was clad in a suit of gray, with a blue hood, and his muscular body was enveloped in a wide blue mantle flecked with gray, an emblem of the sky with its fleecy clouds. In his hand Odin generally carried the infallible spear Gungnir, which was so sacred that an oath sworn upon its point could never be broken. And on his finger or arm he wore the marvelous ring, Draupnir, the emblem of fruitfulness, precious beyond compare. When seated upon his throne, or armed for the fray, to mingle in which he would often descend to earth, Odin wore his eagle helmet. But when he wandered peacefully about the earth in human guise, to see what men were doing, he generally donned a broad brimmed hat drawn low over his forehead to conceal the fact that he possessed but one eye. Two ravens, Hugnin, thought, and Munin, memory, perched upon his shoulders as he sat upon his throne, and these he set out into the wide world every morning, anxiously watching for the return at nightfall, when they whispered into his ears news of all they had seen and heard. Thus he was kept well informed about everything that was happening on earth. Yunin and Munin fly each day over the spacious earth. I fear for Hunin that he come not back, yet more anxious am I for Munin. Norse mythology. At his feet crouch two wolves or hunting hounds, Gary and Freki, animals which were therefore considered sacred to him, and of good omen if met by the way. Odin always fed these wolves from his own hands from meat set before him. He required no food at all for himself, and seldom tasted anything except the sacred mead. Gary and Freki, the war-wont sates, the triumphant sire of hosts, but on wine only, the famed in arms, Odin ever lives. Lay of Grimnir. When seated in state upon his throne, Odin rested his feet upon a footstool of gold, the work of the gods, all of whose furniture and utensils were fashioned, either of that precious metal or of silver. Besides the magnificent hall, Gladsheim, where stood the 12 seats occupied by the gods when they met in council, and Baliskalf, where his throne Lidskalf was placed. Odin had a third palace in Asgard, situated in the midst of the marvelous grove Glasir, whose shimmering leaves were of red gold. This palace, called Valhalla, the Hall of the Chosen Slain, had 540 doors, wide enough to allow the passage of 800 warriors abreast, and above the principal gate were a boar's head and an eagle whose piercing glance penetrated to the far corners of the world. The walls of this marvelous building were fashioned of glittering spears so highly polished that they illuminated the hall. The roof was of golden shields, and the benches were decorated with fine armor, the god's gifts to his guests. Here long tables afforded ample accommodation for the Einarr, warriors fallen in battle, who were specifically favored by Odin. Easily to be known is, by those who to Odin come, the mansion by its aspect. Its roof with spears is laid, its halls with shields is decked, with corselets are its benches strewn. Lay of Grimnir. The ancient northern nations, who deemed warfare the most honorable of occupations, and considered courage the greatest virtue, worshipped Odin principally as the god of battle and victory. They believed that whenever a fight was impending, he sent out his special attendants, the shield, battle, or wish maidens, called Valkyries, choosers of the slain, who selected from the dead warriors one half of their number whom they bore on their fleet steeds over the quivering rainbow bridge, Bifrost, into Valhalla, welcomed by Odin's sons. Hermod and Bragi, the heroes, were conducted to the foot of Odin's throne. They were received the praise due to their valor. When some special favorite of the god was thus brought into Asgard, Valfather, father of the slain, as Odin was called when he presided over the warriors, would sometimes rise from his throne and in person bid him welcome at the great entrance. Beside the glory of such distinction, and the enjoyment of Odin's beloved presence day after day, other more material pleasures awaited the warriors in Valhalla. Generous entertainment was provided for them at the long tables, where the most beautiful white-armed virgins, the Valkyries, having laid aside their armor and clad themselves in pure white robes, waited upon them with assiduous attention. These maidens, 9 in number, according to some authorities, brought the heroes great horns full of delicious mead, and set before them huge portions of boar's flesh, upon which they feasted heartily. The usual northern drink was beer or ale, but our ancestors fancied this beverage too coarse for the heavenly sphere. They therefore imagined that Valfather kept his table liberally supplied with mead or hydromel, which was daily furnished in great abundance by his she-goat Hydrun, who continually browsed on the tender leaves and twigs of Lerad, Yggdrasil's topmost branch. Rash war and perilous battle their delight, the immature and red with glorious wounds, unpeaceful death their choice, deriving thence a right to feast and drain immortal bowls, in Odin's hall, whose blazing roof resounds the genial uproar of those shades who fall in desperate fight or by some brave attempt. Liberty. The meat upon which the Einarhar feasted was the flesh of the divine boat Thrymnir, a marvelous beast, daily slain by the cook Andrimnir, Andrimnir, and boiled in the great cauldron Eldrimnir. But although Odin's guests had true northern appetites and gorged themselves to the full, there was always plenty of meat for all. Andrimnir cooks, and Eldrimnir, Thrymnir, 'tis the beast of flesh, but few know what the Ironars eat. Lay of Grimnir. Moreover, the supply was exhaustless, for the boar always came to life again before the time of the next meal. This miraculous renewal of supplies in the larder was not the only wonderful occurrence in Valhalla, for it is related that the warriors, after having eaten and drunk to satiate, always called for their weapons, armed themselves, and rode out into the great courtyard, where they fought against one another, repeating the feats of arms for which they were famed on earth, and recklessly dealing terrible wounds, which, however, were miraculously and completely healed as soon as the dinner horn sounded. Thank you, DJ. All the chosen guests of Odin daily ply the trade of war. From the fields of festal fight, swiftly they ride in gleaming arms, and gaily at the board of gods, quaff the cup of sparkling ale, and eat Samrini's vaulted flesh. Vafthrûdn's Mel. Whole and happy at the sound of the horn, and bearing one another no grudge for the cruel thrusts given and received, The Einarjar would ride gaily back to Valhalla to renew their feasts in Odin's beloved presence, while the white-armed Valkyries, with flying hair, glided gracefully about, constantly filling their horns, or their favorite drinking vessels, the skulls of their enemies, while the skalds sang of war and of the stirring Viking forays. And all day long they there are hacked and hewn, mid dust and groans and limbs lopped off and blood, but all at night return to Odin's hall, woundless and fresh. Such lot is theirs in heaven. Baldur's Dead. Fighting and feasting thus, the heroes were said to spend their days in perfect bliss, while Odin delighted in their strength and number, which, however, he foresaw would not avail to prevent his downfall when the day of the last battle should dawn. As such pleasures were the highest a northern warrior's fancy could paint, it was very natural that all fighting men should love Odin, and early in life should dedicate themselves to his service. They vowed to die arms in hand if possible, and even wounded themselves with their own spears when death drew near. If they had been fortunate enough to escape death on the battlefield, and were threatened with straw death, as they called disease from old age or sickness. To Odin then, true fast, carves he fair runics, death runes cut deep on his arm and his breast, Viking tales of the North. In reward for this devotion, Odin watched with special care over his favorites, giving them gifts, a magic sword, a spear, or a horse, and making them invincible until their last hour had come, when he himself appeared to claim or destroy the gift he had bestowed, and the Valkyries bore the heroes to Valhalla. He gave to Hermod a helm and corslet, and from him Sigmund a sword received. Lay of Hyndla. When Odin took an active part in war, he generally rode his 8-footed grey steed, Sleipnir, and bore a white shield. His glittering spear, flung over the heads of the combatants, was the signal for the fray to commence, and he would dash into the midst of the ranks, shouting his war cry, "Odin has you all!" And Odin donned his dazzling corslet and his helm of gold, and led the way on Sleipnir. Baldur's Dead. At times he used his magic bow, from which he would shoot 10 arrows at once, everyone invariably bringing down a foe. Odin was also supposed to inspire his favorite warriors with the renowned berserker rage, bearsark or shirt, which enabled them, although naked, weaponless, and sore beset, to perform unheard of feats of valor and strength, and move about as with charmed lives. As Odin's characteristics, like the all-pervading elements, were multitudinous, so also were his names, of which he had no less than 200, almost all descriptive of some phase of his activities. He was considered the ancient god of seamen and of the wind. Mighty Odin, Norseman hearts, we bend to thee. Steer our barks, all-potent Woden, o'er the surging Baltic Sea. Odin, as wind god, was pictured as rushing through mid-air on his 8-footed steed, from which originated the oldest northern riddle, which runs as follows: Who are the two who ride to the thing? 3 eyes have they together, 10 feet and 1 tail, and thus they travel through the lands. And as the souls of the dead were supposed to be wafted away on the wings of the storm, Odin was worshipped as the leader of all disembodied spirits. In this character he was most generally known as the Wild Huntsman, And when people heard the rush and roar of the wind, they cried aloud in superstitious fear, fancying they heard and saw him ride past with his train, all mounted on snorting steeds, and accompanied by baying hounds. And the passing of the wild hunt, known as Woden's hunt, the raging host, Gabriel's hounds, or Asgardia, was also considered a presage of such misfortune as pestilence or war. The Rhine flows bright, but it waves ere long. Must hear a voice of war, and a clash of spears our hills among, and a trumpet from afar, and the brave on a bloody turf must lie, for the huntsman hath gone by. The wild huntsman. It was further thought that if any were so sacrilegious as to join in the wild halloo in mockery, they would be immediately snatched up and whirled away with the vanishing host, while those who joined in the halloo with implicit good faith would be rewarded by the sudden gift of a horse's leg hurled at them from above, which, if carefully kept until the morrow, would be changed into a lump of gold. Even after the introduction of Christianity, the ignorant northern folk still dreaded the oncoming storm, declaring that it was the wild hunt sweeping across the sky. And oft times will start, for overhead are sweeping Gabriel's hounds, doomed with their impious lord the flying hart, to chase forever on aerial grounds. Sonnet. Sometimes it left behind a small black dog, which, cowering and whining upon a neighboring hearth, had to be kept for a whole year and carefully tended, unless it would be exorcised or frightened away. The usual recipe, the same as for the riddance of changelings, was to brew beer in eggshells, and this performance was supposed to it was supposed so to startle the spectral dog that he would fly with his tail between his legs, exclaiming that, although as old as the Bemer or Bohemian forest, he has never been beheld such an uncanny sight. I am as old as the Bemer world, and have in my life seen and have in my life such a brewing not seen. Old saying. The object of this phantom hunt varied greatly, and was either a visionary boar or wild horse, white-breasted maidens who were caught and borne away, bound only once in 7 years, or the wood nymphs, called moss maidens, who were thought to represent the autumn leaves torn from the trees and whirled away by the wintry gale. In the Middle Ages, when the belief in the old heathen deities was partly forgotten, the leader of the wild hunt was no longer Odin, but Charlemagne, Frederick Barbarossa, King Arthur, or some Sabbath breaker like the Squire of Rodenstein or Hans von Hackelberg, who, in punishment for his sins, was condemned to hunt forever through the realms of air. As the winds blew fiercest in autumn and winter, Odin was supposed to prefer hunting during that season, especially during the time between Christmas and Twelfth Night, and the peasants were always careful to leave the last sheaf or measure of grain out in the fields to serve as food for his horse. This hunt was of course known by various names in the different countries of northern Europe, but as the tales told about it were all alike, they evidently organized in the same old heathen belief, and to this day ignorant people of the North fancy that the braying of a hound on a stormy night is an infallible presage of death. Still, still shall last the dreadful chase, till time itself shall have an end. By day they scour earth's caverned space, at midnight's witching hour ascend. This is the horn, and hound, and horse, that oft the lated peasants hear. Appalled he signs the frequent cross, when the wild din invades his ears. The wakeful priest oft drops a tear, for human pride, for human woe, when at his midnight mass he hears the infernal cry of Hala ho, Sir Walter Scott. The wild hunt or raging host of Germany was called Herlathing in England, from the mythical King Herla, its supposed leader. In northern France it bore the name Mesne Delequin, from Hel, goddess of death, and in the Middle Ages it was known as Cain's Hunt or Herod's Hunt. These later names have been given because the leaders were supposed to be unable to find rest on account of the iniquitous murders of Abel, of John the Baptist, and the Holy Innocents. In central France, the wild huntsmen, whom we have already seen in other countries as Odin, Charlemagne, Barbossa, Rodenstein, von Hackelberg, King Arthur, Hel, one of the Swedish kings, Gabriel, Cain, or Herod, was also called the Great Huntsman of Fontainebleau, Le Grand Veneur de Fontainebleau, and people declare that on the eve of Henry the Fourth's murder, and also just before the outbreak of the great French Revolution, his shouts were distinctly heard as he swept across the sky. It was generally believed among the northern nations that the soul escaped from the body in the shape of a mouse, which crept out of the corpse's mouth and ran away, excuse me, and was also said to creep in and out of the mouths of the people in a trance. While the soul was absent, no effort or remedy could recall the patient to life, but as soon as it had come back, animation returned. As Odin was the leader of all disembodied spirits, he was identified in the Middle Ages with the Pied Piper of Hamelin. According to medieval legends, Hamelin was so infested by rats that life had become unbearable, and a large reward was offered to any who would rid the town of these rodents. A piper, in parti-colored garments, offered to undertake the commission, and the terms being accepted, he commenced to play through the streets in such wise that, one and all, the rats were beguiled out of their holes until they formed a vast procession, and there was that in the strains which compelled them to follow, until at last the river Weser was reached, and all were drowned in its tide. And ere 3 shrill notes the piper uttered, you heard as if an army muttered, and the muttering grew to a grumbling, and the grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses the rats came tumbling, great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, grey rats, tawny rats, grave old plodders, grey young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and prickling whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the piper for their lives. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weser, wherein all plunged and perished. Robert Browning. As the rats were all dead, and there was no chance of returning to plague them, the people of Hamelin refused to pay the reward, and they bade the piper do his worst. He took them at their word, and a few moments later the weird strains of the music flute again rose, and this time it was the children who swarmed out of the houses and merrily followed the piper. There was a rustling that seemed like a bustling of merry crowds justling at pitching and hustling. Small feet were pattering, wooden shoes clattering, little hands clapping, and little tongues chattering. And, like fowls in a farmyard when barley is scattering, out came all the children running, all the little boys and girls with rosy cheeks and flaxen curls, and sparkling eyes and teeth like pearls, tripping and skipping, ran merrily after the wonderful music with shouting and laughter. Robert Browning. The burglars were powerless to prevent the tragedy, and as they stood spellbound, the piper led the children out of the town to the Koppelberg and hills on the confines of the town, which miraculously opened to receive the procession, and only closed again when the last child had passed out of sight. This legend probably originated the adage, "to pay the piper." The children were never seen in Hamelin again, and in commemoration of this public calamity, all official decrees have since been dated so many years after the Pied Piper's visit. They made a decree that lawyers never should think their records dated duly, if after the day of the month and year these words did not as well appear, and so long after what happened here, on the 22nd of July, 1376, and the better in memory to fix the place of the children's last retreat. They called it the Pied Piper's Street, where anyone playing on pipe and tabor was sure the future to lose his labor. Robert Browning. In this myth, in this myth, Odin is the piper. The shrill tones of the flute are emblematic of the whistling wind. The rats represent the souls of the dead, which cheerfully follow him, and the hollow mountain in which he leads the children is typical of the grave. Another German legend which owes its existence to this belief is the story of Bishop Hatto, the miserly prelate who, annoyed by the clamors of the poor during a time of famine, had them burned alive in a deserted barn, like the rats whom he declared they resembled, rather than give them some of the precious grain which he had laid up for himself. "I faith 'tis an excellent bonfire," quoth he, "and the country is greatly obliged to me, for ridding it, in these times forlorn, of rats that only consume the corn." Robert Southey. Soon after this terrible crime had been accomplished, the bishop's retainers reported the approach of a vast swarm of rats. These, it appears, were the souls of the murdered peasants, which had assumed the form of the rats to which the bishop had likened them. His efforts to escape were vain, and the rats pursued him even into the middle of the Rhine, to a stone tower in which he took refuge from their fangs. They swam to the tower, gnawed their way through the stone walls, and, pouring in all sides at once, they found the bishop and devoured him alive. And in the windows, and in the door, and through the walls, helter-skelter they pour, and down from the ceiling, and up through the floor, from the right and the left, from behind and before, from within and without, and from above and below. They have whetted their teeth against the stones, and now they pick the bishop's bones. They gnawed the flesh from every limb, for they were sent to do judgment on him. Robert Southey. The red glow of the sunset above the Rat Tower near Bingen on the Rhine is supposed to be the reflection of the hellfire in which the wicked bishop is slowly roasting in punishment for his heinous crime. In some parts of Germany, Odin was considered to be identical with the Saxon god Irmin, whose statue, the Irminsul, near Paderborn, was destroyed by Charlemagne in 772. Irmin was said to possess a ponderous brazen chariot, in which he rode across the sky along the path which we know as the Milky Way, but which the ancient Germans designated as Irmin's Way. This chariot, whose rumbling sound occasionally became perceptible to mortal ears as thunder, never left the sky, where it can still be seen in the constellation of the Great Bear, which is known in the north as Odin's or Charles's Wain. The Wain, whose wheels on high his circling course, and on Orion awaits, sole star that never bathes in the ocean wave. Homer's Iliad. To obtain the great wisdom for which he is so famous, Odin, in the morn of time, visited Mimir's memory. Spring, the fountain of all wit and wisdom, in whose liquid depths even the future was clearly mirrored, and besought the old man who guarded it to let him have a draught. But Mimir, who well knew the value of such a favor, for his spring was considered the source or headwater of memory, refused the boon unless Odin would consent to give one of his eyes in exchange. The god did not hesitate, so highly did he prize the draught, but immediately plucked out one of his eyes, which Mimir kept in pledge, sinking it deep down into his fountain, where it shone with mild lustre, leaving Odin with but one eye, which is considered emblematic of the sun. Through our whole lives we strive towards the sun. That burning forehead is in the eye of Odin. His second eye, the moon, shines not so bright. It has he placed in the pledge of Mimir's fountain, that he may fetch the healing waters thence, each morning, for the strengthening of this eye. Howitt's translation. Drinking deeply of Mimir's fount, Odin gained the knowledge he coveted, and he never regretted the sacrifice he had made, but as further memorial of the day broke off a branch of the sacred tree Yggdrasil, which overshadowed the spring, and fashioned from it his beloved spear Gungnir. A dauntless god drew for drink to its gleam, where he left in endless payment the light of an eye. From the world ash, ere Wotan went he broke a bough, for a spear the staff he split with strength from the stem. Dusk of the Gods. But although Odin was now all-wise, he was sad and oppressed, for he had gained an insight into futurity, and had become aware of the transitory nature of all things, and even of the fate of the gods, who were doomed to pass away. This knowledge so affected his spirits, that he ever after wore a melancholy and contemplative expression. To test the value of his wisdom he had thus obtained, Odin went to visit the most learned of all the giants, Vafthrûdnir, and entered with him into a contest of wit, in which the stake was nothing less than the loser's head. Odin rose with speed and went to contend in runic lore with the wise and crafty Jute. To Vafthrûdnir's loyal hall came the mighty king of spells, Vafthrûdnir's Mall. On this occasion Odin had disguised himself as a wanderer by Frigga's advice, and when asked his name declared it was Gangrad. The contest of wit immediately began, Vafthrûdnir questioning his guest concerning the horses which carried day and night across the sky, the river Ifing separating Jotunheim from Asgard, and also about Vigrid, the field where the last battle was to be fought. All these questions were minutely answered by Odin, who, when Vafthrûdnir had ended, began the interrogatory in his turn, and received equally explicit answers about the origin of heaven and earth, the creation of the gods, their quarrel with the Vanas, the occupations of the heroes in Valhalla, the offices of the Norns, and the rulers who were to replace the Aesir when they had all perished with the world they had created. But when, in conclusion, Odin bent near the giant and softly inquired what words Allfather whispered to his dead son Balder as he lay upon his funeral pyre, Vafthrûdnir suddenly recognized his divine visitor. Starting back in dismay, he declared that no one but Odin himself could answer that question, and that it was now quite plain to him that he had madly striven in a contest of wisdom and wit with the king of the gods, and fully deserved the penalty of failure, the loss of his head. Not the man of mortal race knows the words which thou hast spoken to thy son in days of yore. I heard the coming tread of death. He soon shall raise the runic lore, and knowledge of the rise of gods, from his ill-fated soul who strove with Odin's self and strife of wit, wisest of the wise that breathe our stake in life, and thou hast won. Vafthrudnes Mall. As is the case with so many of the northern myths, which are often fragmentary and obscure, this one ends here, and none of the skalds informs us whether Odin really slew his rival, nor what was the answer to his last question. But mythologists have hazarded the suggestion that the word whispered by Odin in Baldur's ear to console him for his ultimately death, or untimely death, must have been resurrection. Besides being god of wisdom, Odin was god and inventor of runes, the earliest alphabet used by northern nations, which characters, signifying mystery, were at first used for divination, although in later times they served for inscriptions and records. Just as wisdom could only be obtained at the cost of sacrifice, Odin himself relates that he hung 9 days and nights from the sacred tree Yggdrasil, gazing down into the immeasurable depth of Niflheim, plunged in deep thought, and self-wounded with his spear, ere he won the knowledge he sought. I know that I hung on a wind-wrecked tree 9 whole nights with a spear wounded, and to Odin offered myself to myself on that tree of which no one knows from what root it springs. Odin's Rune Song. When he had fully mastered this knowledge, Odin cut magic runes upon his spear Gungnir, upon the teeth of his horse Sleipnir, upon the claws of the bear, and upon countless other animate and inanimate things, and because he had thus hung over the abyss for such a long space of time, he was ever after considered the patron divinity of all who were condemned to be hanged, or who perished by the noose. After obtaining the gift of wisdom and runes, which gave him power over all things, Odin also coveted the gift of eloquence and poetry, which he acquired in a manner which we shall relate in a subsequent chapter. Odin, as has already been stated, took great interest in the affairs of mortals, and, we are told, was specially fond of watching King Hralding's handsome little sons, Geirrod and Agnar, when they were about 8 and 10 years of age respectively. One day these little lads went fishing, and a storm suddenly arose, which blew their boat far out to sea, where it finally stranded upon an island upon which dwelt a seeming old couple, who in reality were Odin and Frigga in disguise. They had assumed these forms in order to indulge a sudden passion for the close society of their protege. The lads were warmly welcomed and kindly treated, Odin choosing Geirrod as his favorite and teaching him the use of arms, while Frigga petted and made much of little Agnar. The boys tarried on the island with their kind protectors during the long, cold winter season, but when spring came and the skies were blue and the sea calm, they embarked in a boat which Odin provided, and set out for their nation's shore. Favored by gentle breezes, they were soon afted thither, but as the boat neared the strand, Geirrod quickly sprang out and pushed it far back into the water, bidding his brother sail away into the evil spirit's power. At that self-same moment the wind veered, and Agnar was indeed carried away, while his brother hastened to his father's palace, with a lying tale as to what had happened to his brother. He was joyfully received as one from the dead, and in due time he succeeded his father upon the throne. Years passed by, during which the attention of Odin had been claimed by other high considerations, when one day, while the divine couple were seated on the throne Lidskjalf, Odin suddenly remembered the winter's sojourn on the desert island, and he bade his wife notice how powerful his pupil had become, and taunted her because her favorite Agnar had married a giantess and had remained poor and of no consequence. Frigga quietly replied that it was better to be poor than hard-hearted, and accused Gerard of lack of hospitality, one of the most heinous crimes in the eyes of a Northman. She even went so far as to declare that in spite of all his wealth, he often ill-treated his guests. When Odin heard this accusation, he declared that he would prove the falsity of the charge by assuming the guise of a wanderer and testing Gerard's generosity. Wrapped in his cloud-hued raiment, with slouch hat and pilgrim staff, Wanderer calls me the world. Far have I carried my feet, on the back of the earth I have boundlessly been. Wagner. Odin immediately set out by a roundabout way, while Frigga, to outwit him, immediately dispatched a swift messenger to warn Gerard to beware of a man in wide mantle and broad-brimmed hat, as he was a wicked enchanter who would work him ill. When therefore Odin presented himself before the king's palace, he was dragged into Gerard's presence and questioned roughly. He gave his name as Grimnir, but refused to tell whence he came or what he wanted. So in his reticence confirmed the suspicious suggestion to the mind of Gerard. He allowed his love of cruelty full play, and commanded that the stranger should be bound between two fires, in such wise that the flames played around him without quite touching him, and he remained thus 8 days and nights in obstinate silence without food. Now Agnar had returned secretly to his brother's palace, where he occupied a menial position, and one night when all was still, in pity for the suffering of the unfortunate captive, he conveyed to his lips a horn of ale. Before this, Odin would have had nothing to drink, the most serious of all trials to the god. At the end of the 8th day, while Gerard, seated upon his throne, was gloating over his prisoner's suffering, Odin began to sing, softly at first, then louder and louder, until the hall re-echoed with his triumphant notes, a prophecy that the king, who had so long enjoyed the god's favor, would soon perish by his own sword. The fallen by the sword Yig shall now have. Thy life is now run out. Wroth with thee are the Disir. Odin thou now shalt see. Draw near to me, if thou canst. Samadzetta. As the last notes died away, the chains dropped from his hands, the flames flickered and went out, and Odin stood in the midst of the hall, no longer in human form, but in all the power and beauty of a god. Upon hearing the ominous prophecy, Gerard hastily drew his sword, intending to slay the insolent singer, but when he beheld the sudden transformation, he started in dismay, tripped, and fell upon the sharp blade, and perished as Odin had just foretold. Turning to Agnar, who, according to some accounts, was the king's son, and not his brother, for these old stories are often strangely confused, Odin bade him ascend the throne in reward for his humanity and, further to repay him for his timely draught of ale, he promised to bless him with all manner of prosperity. On another occasion Odin wandered to earth, and was absent so long the gods began to think they would not see him in Asgard again. This encouraged his brother Vili and Ve, who by some mythologists are considered as other personifications of himself, to usurp his power and his throne, and even, we are told, to espouse his wife Frigga. Be thou be thou silent, Frigg. Thou art Beorgin's daughter, and ever hast been fond of men, since Ve and Vili, it is said, thou Vidrir's wife didst both to thy bosom take. Soma's Edda. But upon Odin's return the usurpers vanished forever, and in commemoration of the disappearance of the false Odin, who had ruled 7 months and had brought nothing but unhappiness to the world, and of the return of the benevolent deity, the heathen northern men formerly celebrated yearly festivals which were long continued as May Day rejoicings, until very lately there were always on that day a grand procession in Sweden known as the May Ride, in which a flower-decked May-King, Odin, pelted with blossoms the fur-enveloped Winter, his supplanter, until he put him to ignominious flight. In England also the first day of May was celebrated as a festive occasion in which Maypole dances, May Queens, Maid Marian, and Jack in the Green played prominent parts. As personification of heaven, Odin, of course, was the lover and spouse of the earth, and as to them the earth bore a threefold aspect. The Northmen depicted him as a polygamist, and allotted him several wives. The first among these was Jord, Erda, the primitive earth, daughter of Night, or of the giantess Fjorgyn. She bore him his famous son Thor, the god of thunder. The second and principal wife was Frigga, a personification of the civilized world. She gave him Balder, the gentle god of spring, Hermod, and according to some authorities, Tyr. The third wife was Rinda, a personification of the hard and frozen earth, who reluctantly yields to his warm embrace, but finally gives birth to Vali, the emblem of vegetation. Odin is also said to have married Saga or Laga, the goddess of history, hence our verb to say, and to have daily visited her in the crystal hall of Sakvabet beneath a cool, ever-flowing river, to drink its waters and listen to her songs about olden times and vanished races. Sakvabek height, the fourth dwelling. I know, right? Thank you guys so much for everything. Sakvabek height, the fourth dwelling. Over it flow the cool billows. Glad drink there, Odin and Saga, every day from golden cups. Norse mythology. His other wives were Grid, the mother of Vidar, Gunlod, mother of Bragi, Skadi, and the 9 giantesses who simultaneously bore Heimdall, all of whom play more or less important parts in the various myths of the North. Besides this ancient Odin, there was a more modern, semi-historical personage of the same name, to whom all the virtues, powers, and adventures of his predecessor have been attributed. He was the chief of the Aesir, inhabitants of Asia Minor, who, sore pressed by the Romans, and threatened with destruction or slavery, left their native land about 70 B.C. and migrated into Europe. This Odin is said to have conquered Russia, Germany, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, leaving a son on the throne of each conquered country. He also built the town of Odense. He was welcomed in Sweden by Gylfi, the king, who gave him a share of the realm and allowed him to found a city of Sigtuna, where he built a temple and introduced a new system of worship. Tradition further relates that as his end drew near, this mythical Odin assembled his followers, publicly cut himself 9 times in the breast with his spear, a ceremony called carving gear odds, and told them he was about to return to his native land Asgard, his old home, where he would await their coming to share with him a life of feasting, drinking, and fighting. According to another account, Gylfi, having heard of the power of the Aesir, the inhabitants of Asgard, and wishing to ascertain whether these reports were true, journeyed to the south. In due time he came to Odin's palace, where he was expected, and where he was deluded by the vision of Har, Efanhar, and Thridi, three divinities, enthroned one above the other. The gatekeeper, Gangler, answered all his questions and gave him a long explanation of northern mythology, which is recorded in the Younger Edda, and then, having finished his instruction, suddenly vanished with the palace amid a deafening noise. According to other very ancient poems, Odin's sons, Waldeg, Beldeg, Sigi, Skuld, Seming, and Yngvi became kings of East Saxony, West Saxony, Franconia, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, and from them are descended the Saxons, Hengist, and Horsa, and the royal families of the northern lands. Still another version relates that Odin and Frigga have 7 sons, who founded the Anglo-Saxon Heptarchy. In the course of this time this mysterious king was confounded with the Odin whose worship he introduced, and all his deeds were attributed to the god. Odin was worshipped in numerous temples, but especially in the great fane at Uppsala, where the most solemn festivals were held, and where sacrifices were offered. The victim was generally a horse, but in times of pressing need, human offerings were made, even the king being once offered up to avert a famine. Uppsala's temple, where the North saw Valhall's fair king imagined here on the earth. Viking Tales of the North. The first toast at every festival here was drunk in his honor, and, besides the 1st of May, one day in every week was held sacred to him, and, from his Saxon name, Woden, was called Woden's Day, whence the English word Wednesday has been derived. It was customary for the people to assemble at his shrine on festival occasions to hear the songs of the skalds, who were rewarded for their minstrelsy by the gift of the golden bracelets or armlets, which curled up at the ends and were called Odin's serpents. By the way, um, Friday is Frigga's Day, Thursday is Thor's Day, and there's another one, I forget which one it was. There was but few remains of ancient northern art now extant, and although rude statues of Odin were once quite common, they have all disappeared as they were made of wood, a perishable substance, which in the hands of the missionaries, and especially of Olaf the Saint, the northern iconoclast, was soon reduced to ashes. There in the temple, carved in wood, the image of great Odin stood. Saga of King Olaf. Odin himself is supposed to have given his people a code of laws whereby to govern their conduct, in a poem called Havamal, or the High Song, which forms part of the Edda. In this lay he taught the fallibility of man, the necessity for courage, temperance, independence, and truthfulness, respect for old age, hospitality, charity, and contentment, and gave instructions for the burial of the dead. At home let a man be cheerful, and toward a guest liberal. Of wise conduct he should be, of good memory and ready speech. If much knowledge he desires, he must often talk on what is good. Havamal. I don't have enough time to go into doing frigas, but thank you everybody for everything. This has definitely been a journey. I think the garlic's almost done.
I've been extra crispy for a while. Now I've become so crispy. I've become raw again, and now I'm crispy again.
Yeah, crispy garlic.
Ah,
I
I
have
love this Norse mythology though.
Norse mythology is really nice. Um, Unfortunately, when I have Sagril read it to me, I tend to fall asleep because his voice is it's so nice to listen to.
Indeed. Well, I'll take your word for
Yeah,
it.
but
Not the Yule menu. We can't handle more food.
wait, what?
Panda.
Yeah, she just finished this one today and she's starting on the Yule menu. Um, she has volunteered to make seasonal menus. So she did a
Lord
Halloween
help us
one,
all.
she's doing a Yule menu, she's going to do a spring one, and she's going to do a summer one for us. She volunteered for this, by the way.
Oh, I know.
And
Woman's a psychopath, but in the most beautiful way.
I have just realized I have done my reactive backwards.
Wait, did you?
Yeah, when I'm speaking, my mouth closes, but when I'm not speaking, it opens.
Should even know
I know, right? I wonder who, I wonder if anybody else noticed.
that? I've been over here fiddling while you were reading, and I'm just like, do 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 do. Glance
Shush,
over, I was like, oh.
shush you, panda. Aw, the pupper's being cute. Hi, I see you. She's been, and you're not talking anymore, so it just did. Haha. That's hilarious when she says stuff like this to me.
Last 2 minutes.
I know, right?
The,
Yes, I
the
know. I
last
will.
chance for anyone to do anything.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is power hour, so.
And we need a hero. God, it's actually been 2 hours altogether, though.
Huh? Oh, we started
Yeah,
with
been up for two
barely
hours.
an hour, so.
So I'd say, yeah,
Oh
that makes
shit! No,
sense.
it actually has been over 2 hours. Been a little
That's
bit
what I'm
over.
saying. I just looked at the timer.
Yeah, so did I. Holy shit! But yeah, I am.
We've just been vibing.
Thank you guys, everybody, for everything that you guys have and for continuing to help us along with this journey and stuff. Hi, honey. You've just woken up. We have less than a minute left. Yep, Helios had bought 5 stream loot packs, and I read the uh the beginning for uh the stuff, and then Odin. All of the stuff that you've been trying to tell me about, and yet I fall asleep because your voice is so soothing. Yeah.
Last 30 seconds, everyone.
20 seconds. Last 20
Oh,
seconds.
now it's 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's because you're watching the stream. You're having
Slight
add
delay.
15 minutes, and Anubis just 5 tier 1 subs. Oh, you know what? Yes, it is. I just went back up over an hour.
That's what we call a pro gamer
That
move.
is
He
absolutely a
waited to
pro gamer
the
move.
last Good shit,
By the way,
Anubis.
honey, that means you have to do a
Bravo.
tweet.
You get a clap and a half.
Alpaca, what did you
Oh.
do? 10 packs from Alpaca.
So apparently, we're just not ending yet.
Give me a moment, I'm trying to do math. So, 44,
Beat
so...
me to it, he says.
Which gives 5
Kitty.
packs there. Or 5 subs. Right.
Yeah.
So add 5. Which we're back at. Wait a minute. Hold on. We have one. Actually, we have half of a sub before we hit another sub goal. We literally have half of a sub before we hit a sub goal of I get to read a story of chat's choice.
Oh, fuck it,
Half
hold
of
on.
a sub.
Screw it.
Garlic, how many did you do?
5.
All right. Garlic just did 5. So we have now hit it. Which Sagrel still has to do a playthrough of. Oh, Jesus Christ, we're up at 3 hours again. All right. So that you did 5 subs, Garlic?
Yes, ma'am.
Well done, guys. Yep,
Sounds like, yep,
So
I'm still
that's
waking up.
two.
Yep.
That's 2 tweets, sweetie, and a loadout token. Shit, so that's 5.
Make sure you mark.
What?
Chipmunk needs dryer.
Oh, it's in the underwear drawer. So that's 5. So does anybody want to put? Oh, reading challenge. Yes, this is wonderful. Changeling. All right. So does we have to pick up 2? Okay, I don't do online books because my seizures. It's the refresh rate will screw me up. However, if it's not expensive and it's at Barnes and Noble, I'm willing to buy it. Give me a moment. The husband needs me. Ow! My butt. Okay, I'll be right back.
The Changeling by Victor Lavelle.
Shush, dog.
Oh, hell, the audiobook on Amazon's only $5 right now.
You're
$6.
gonna have to message Zinthros them because they're the last ones that used it. I don't know where they put it. Whoa! Okay, what was that? Okay, that was another adding 15 minutes. It's a Fae book. It's not expensive. Yeah, he added 15 minutes.
Okay, I got Twitter open. What am I tweeting?
Yeah, if it's at Barnes & Noble and it's not expensive, I will pick it up probably tomorrow after work. And that will actually be read before Princess Bride, as you guys did hit the that sub goal. Now it also is anybody going to counter Anubis on this? Because right now she's the only one that said anything.
Shit, I don't read. I don't know books.
You don't read. Got it.
Well, I do. I just don't anymore.
Jenga, I see you lurking. You want to join chat?
I see you there.
Helios, you can too.
The man's been outed.
They both have been outed.
Oh, Helios has been here.
All the time.
I know. Pics sent.
Yeah. Close. Kitty, I love you, but you're clawing the hell out of my eye.
Oh my god, they're cute!
Oh my god, those are adorable.
Okay, so how do I, hold on. Beep, beep, beep. Hold on, hold on. I gotta. Uh,
This
how
this
do I
calls
how
for
do
a
I drag and
celebration.
drop?
So hold click. Yep, hold click. Go
Wait,
down
hold
to
on,
the
hold on.
no no.
Wait, hold on. Click.
Hold click. Drag it. Drag down to OBS.
OBS.
Drag onto the screen. This is how I do it to quickly show people.
I hate you so much right now. How do
I
I
think it's alt.
alt?
Ooh,
Ayo.
now it's on screen
This
now.
is I don't know if you all can see this, but this is like a preview of like the first like what Panda's doing.
Hi.
I'm sorry, Panda.
Hot chocolate.
But look at this! Look at this! She's already working on the winter menu. Yeah! Yeah, Omar, hot chocolate's first thing it's made.
I like how the little gingerbread man's just like drowning into the whipped cream.
Yes, the gingerbread man is drowning in the whipped cream. So, eh. Uh, remove. Yes. But, yeah. So, Helios, join stream. Wait, what day of the week is
Oh,
it? It's Thursday. You're off! Wait, it's
I was
Friday.
gonna say
Friday, he's not.
he can still join.
Yeah, you're off!
He's off.
Get in here! Let me make
Bring your
sure.
goatly bitch ass in here.
There's 8 slots! Jenga and Helios, get in here. I don't know what to do. I got like 3.5 hours. I didn't plan for this. Mistakes were made!
Mistakes are made. How? How are mistakes made, honey?
I don't know what to do. Like, I was fully planning on just like, alright, we're down to 30, we're down to like
If I find
15 seconds and then
I have crashed through the dimensions to be here.
scree!
Wait,
Oh,
what's
actually, no, you have
dimension?
to type that shit in there for me to do it. Oh my god. Yeah, I know. Every single time, for the next 5 minutes, every time someone types scree, I have to say scree. Which, let me, reactives. Scree! Oh my god, alpaca and garlic. Fuck y'all both. Scree!
hey, listen.
Please
All
don't.
praise the great serpent of vodka.
Alright, honey, where is, how do I,
How do you what?
scree! I think Helios is somewhere off in the ether. How do I find him? Wait, why is it doing the,
It's up there somewhere.
Helios, what the hell did you do?
wait, what the
Breaking
hell is,
dimensions again?
how do I get up there?
As in. I think he's
drowning in the Yeah.
How do you lose? Okay. Right click it.
I quite
Transform.
possibly made
Oh, he's not even visible.
made
So how do I make him visible?
Honey, you're gonna have to
Oh, I
completely
see
do
him.
this.
He's behind.
Oh, okay,
He's
so
behind the timer
remove,
in the chat box.
Yeah.
remove
oh
him.
I see his
You're gonna
leg.
have to drag and drop in from reaction.
Add existing. I might be able to do it from here.
I like to turn
I found
favors
it,
of
but
this,
it's only an ebook. I am so sorry, Anubis.
I'm thinking.
It's only an
Ooh,
ebook.
ooh, 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 ooh. I
All
got a book.
right,
I
so
actually have the physical book. Un momento.
what?
all right, I'm trying to get Helios in here.
Stretching.
I
I
have to
am
do Microsoft
forever.
Edge.
I, I am forever hidden in behind the chat.
No, you're not.
Chat has me imprisoned.
It's nothing new. Welcome being a
Copy.
streamer.
I know. I've been one since May.
Maybe it's Maybelline?
May the force be with you.
Is it 1920 1080 or what is it? she trying to steal your shoes again? Hey! Look who's on the screen!
Oh God, he has no pants.
Yeah, I know. Let's hide that. It's on my skin. Hey, look. He's coming.
Stepping on accurate.
Hey, look. He's coming in through the door.
Oh
That's
no.
actually pretty brilliant. I love that actual.
Yeah,
That's
I know,
So,
right? It's great. I own a tavern. Look, he's walking in.
let's be fair. If he was actually coming in, he'd have been flying through the door Superman style because he got launched out of a catapult or something.
Wouldn't be
All
the
right.
first time.
So I need to see if I can look up the book Changeling. It's a film. Anubis, who's it by?
That came to mind.
I hear you, Panda.
Hmm.
Ooh, I know what would be a really good story. Making good old Aragon.
Okay,
That's a
how
good
how
story.
big is that book?
Oh God, I couldn't tell you on top of my head. It's lengthy. Not super lengthy, but it's good chunk, I think. Shit, let me look.
It's on Amazon, or the book Changeling.
Uh,
It's $20 for paperback.
so to answer your question about Aragon, it's a 509 or 544, depending on how many, which version you get.
That
That's
is
an
a big
old
book.
book. Yeah, that's a good size book.
It's
Think
called
about
No.
that.
If
Well, I
it's
mean,
a
that's fair.
if it's a huge thing, honestly, having me read a story, it's not supposed to be a massive fucking book. Honestly.
That's fair. Trying to think of a good. Ooh. How big is this book? Hold on.
Oh Jesus
I'm
Christ.
thinking.
Vibe check.
Trying to think of. Trying to think of a. Uh,
Oh honey,
shorter one.
look at all the food on the screen.
That's a lot of food on the screen.
Yeah. Someone asked me if they could eat Acrioth.
I mean, technically. There's 16 food items on that screen.
So Panda counted, and it's 16 food items. So she's licking your. The dog is fucking weird. She's licking
That sounds
his
just.
sandals or slippers. She's laying there
That sounds.
licking his slippers.
This is worse than what happened to my stream yesterday. I found out that I didn't put a cooldown on
Pause.
my order up.
Why do I have to put a cooldown on it?
Oh no, I had to. Alpaca spammed it,
And you're
Oh,
surprised.
and
God.
then
Think about it, whole
nope.
flex.
He there were. It looks like a redneck yard.
It looks like a redneck yard. Good
Uh, I'm
job.
I'm
5
considering bad
clicks of
financial decisions.
grass, and I don't know how many of which one, but there was like 6, 7 cans on the screen.
Yeah. All I had ordered today was
Oop.
cold drinks.
Hmm.
So so I had two tin cans on my chest.
Lol.
Chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
We knows.
So, tell me if this makes sense to you guys. So I looked up a story. I thought it'd be nice. And
Aww.
on Amazon, for a
Yeah.
hardcover, it's $10. For a paperback, it's 11.
So by the way,
That
boop, it's off. The power hour is off now.
She's like, I don't want to be here all night.
Oh, it's not that. It's Power Hour has been on for 2 hours. I
Yeah. Oops.
Mm, I don't think we're sorry about
Why would you be?
Hmm.
it. But I think we've all been enjoying listening to you read.
I appreciate it.
Nice and comfy evening.
Mm-hmm. Not every night has to be about
Staggle being fucking crazy.
killing and destroying stuff. Yeah.
Or trauma. There's lots of trauma.
I mean, as he tweeted, he enjoys emotionally damaging games.
Who made him say that?
Can't remember.
What's this? 116 pages. So hefty. I need to actually go back and finish that series.
What series?
The Last Apprentice stories. You ever read those?
No, but I've been told good things.
They're very good. There's like 14 books. It's your typical seventh son of a seventh son versus witches and all that kind of story.
Oh my god, what are you doing, sweetie? Send it to me. I'm gonna put it on screen.
It's on Facebook.
It's okay. How's everyone doing here? Sagral's being stupid.
Uh oh no.
I
Okay,
immediately concerned.
there's a bear that's kind of dancing or whatever. It's like the what the hell is the wording of it?
Whopper, whopper.
Okay, no, give it to me. I want to make it louder so you can so they can hear it.
Hold on, I thought you were gonna play it on the screen.
Yeah, I don't-
Hold on.
Whopper, Whopper, Junior, Double, Triple, Whopper, Flame Grill, taste with perfect toppers. I boom, is there lettuce, mayo, pickle, ketchup, it's okay if I don't. Whopper, Whopper.
So yeah,
Has a guy in a bear
I
suit.
have
it
that
has
as an ori-
it has a guy in like a bear mascot type suit dancing to that.
Lord help us all.
I love you. Let me know when they know what they want me to tweet out.
Okay, so you guys have to let me know what you guys want Sagral to tweet out. You guys have 2 tweets worth. And I will message
I
him,
don't know.
so
Somebody's got to figure something out. I
actually
didn't think we'd get this
go
far.
for it, Anubis. I actually have it where the only thing I have to worry about is like it's actually in the chat that I'm looking at, but it doesn't matter. Um, like on the screen that you guys all see. But in the actual like stream chat where you guys are typing stuff, it doesn't matter. I there's a way to make it where they don't move from me. Post your moving stuff. You're good. Yes, Whopper,
It's the
Whopper
reason why
Junior, Whopper, Flame Girl. Yeah, that thing.
it's the reason why I've been able to actually willy-nilly post all my moving ones.
Hey, look! Panda found the. Oh my god, how many of those did he actually put on there? How many more? Oh, he added. He didn't put his up though.
Hmm?
He has one too. It's actually positioned so that way we can literally be back to back where like his is on the
Gonna
left
fix
side,
it
mine's
still.
on the
I
right
gave
side.
him the ones that were redone, but I don't think he's changed them.
Honey girl, it's okay. He has to go to work. And if I let you outside, you're gonna be destructive as hell.
I like turtles.
I just realized.
Okay, so I have an option. Now
Yar.
I'm gonna let chat decide what they want to do. So I can end stream and let Sagrel finish out the 3 hours or whatever you guys want to do. Or I can try to figure out something. I have no idea what the hell I'm gonna do. I did not plan for this.
Hmm. Decisions.
I know, right?
Come on, Chad. What do you have a bright idea?
Oh shit! Yeah. See, let's let me see something. Rosie, oh shit, Helios, I don't have yours. Well,
Mm-hmm.
damn. I don't have access to your emotes.
Oh, right.
Because what I was gonna do is just, if you put yours first and then put mine, it'll actually do pretty much what mine and Sagrel's are supposed to do.
Oh, you mean what I did?
Yeah. Put yours first and then put mine.
Oh, wait. So,
That
like
that is
that?
actually what mine and Sagrel's is gonna do. And boop.
Clever. I like it.
Well, I mean that was your wife's
It's
doing. Of course it was clever.
Hmm.
Mm. So the 23rd
You know,
is Thanksgiving. That is in about 2 weeks. Or a little bit less than 2 weeks. I'm just looking at my. Ha ha. Yeah. Everyone give Panda praise!
yes, praise the panda. I normally praise the sun, but I will praise the panda.
I know.
Always.
I'm just giving, or checking my schedule and stuff. But yeah, I said, I don't know what to do. Uh,
uh, show you, so you know, actually was sitting there at like a minute and a half left, and I'm like, wait a second, I have a bunch of cards that I'm not going to use. Freak, freak out, breaking to to make to make a card for time.
break all the cards from and craft them.
I mean, that's up to you
The
guys. If you guys want to break your
uh,
cards and create time cards, it's up to you. It's the only people at the moment that put the fear of God in me with that particular shit are Alpaca, Maki, and Anubis. Because I can see how many packs they bought.
And they were known as the Big Three.
Well, Maki
oh
and Anubis
no.
put the fear of God in Sagro me for last subathon because they extended it by 8 hours with just time cards.
I remember that actually.
Oh goodness. Uh,
That subathon lasted 8 days, and that was 8 days straight. And I only lasted 4 days of that because that was before my anxiety went stupid. Let's just put it that way. That was before my anxiety went stupid.
oh, and that was right before I actually started becoming a member of the cafe.
Yep, and that's like
Like
I started
like
having anxiety attacks out the butt. Ooh, eggnog. Shut up. I have a Bluetooth headset. Thank you very much, and I'm fucking using it. I went and I was like, "Woo, eggnog." I just went to the fridge.
You were just so happy about it. It was amazing.
It it was.
I'm sorry. This is the first time this year I've had eggnog. I've seen it out for about a month or so. Like it's been out for a good while, but I'm just like, nope, nope, not allowed to have it till November. Well, it's November, so
You
I'm
know,
so
I don't think I've ever actually had eggnog.
Mm,
no. I have to
n-
have non-alcoholic
neither ha-
eggnog. Um, mm, I'm sorry.
Making
The
her
cluster
eggnog.
of food on the bottom here is starting to annoy me because like I have a tavern style thing. Like I should put it on the tables. I don't have enough tables.
yeah, we ordered a lot of stuff, didn't we?
That's not a problem. I actually love
We
the
could
look of
order more food.
everything here. Like, it is fucking amazing, and I'm hungry. As the moment Panda's like, here's your favorite dish, Reina. Oh my god, you bitch! Now I want it. And
Wait.
that's with love. Like, no, the yeah, the turtle shell potato soup. It's literally loaded baked potato soup in a bread bowl.
I don't know. I
I've
still cannot get over how the one looks like a deep fried Magikarp.
It's supposed to be Siren's Tail,
I
takoyaki.
know, but
It's
cut
effectively
the
like
image
you
in my
cut a
head.
mermaid. It's effectively you cut a mermaid in half because if we eat the human half, that's kind of cannibalism, and we don't do that.
Isn't it supposed to look
Um.
like cannibalism?
Hey, garlic.
Marshmallow,
I didn't do it.
you don't go back there. You know better.
Yes,
Did
Helios.
you did you know there was a Streamloop pack that was exclusively meant for Sons of the Forest?
Why would you tell people this? You know who's in the chat.
Alpaca. And that's something that you can definitely get for yourself, right? And yeah, literally, I happen to place you pretty well on a step, and yes, you are in that damn door. Menacingly. Yeah, okay, Helios, go on. Alpaca is interested.
That,
Oh.
that man does not need to cook no more. He cooks too much. We're scared. We're terrified. It will quite likely have Jimmy's rustled.
Al- Alpaca. If how about this? I will maybe make a stream. I will possibly edit Streamloop packs here sometime soon to make it to where I have just a general bullshit one that has all the stupid things that that you like to throw in. But then I might make one that's literally like just a bunch of games, and then there's a subathon one I still need to
Do you
actually
want to go
do
outside? Do
anything with.
you want to go outside, child? Here, go outside. All right, up. You're eating cardboard, child.
Hey,
Give,
that's
give,
my job.
give me a
Wait,
moment. I
no,
have to
that's the
lock her
goat's
out.
job.
I have to lock her out in her actual yard. Give me a moment.
Damn it, garlic! You what you sent me.
I sent it to him too. That's our typical responses.
Yeah, and then her reaction is, "Oh no, it's wet. I don't want to get wet." Yeah. If I leave her out on the deck, it's fine if she goes to the bathroom on the deck. The problem is she will find something to absolutely eat or destroy. Oh, playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duels, I see.
Shit, I've been
Oh,
outed.
did you forget that I'm friends with you on Steam?
I forgot that people can see what I'm playing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I just
also
pulled it up for the shits and the giggles of it.
It also pops up if you have a Steam game on that you're playing on stream, it it can and will show people that your friends are going online.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I minimized my game real quick just as I saw it. And I'm like, wait, I know it's a
Hold on.
I know it's a delay.
I is short.
Just started playing
Wee.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel.
I am too short.
Now,
I must not
I've
be as.
literally just had a
Here
now
we
all of
go.
China knows you're here moment.
Yeah, you did. By the way, the
Chandra, you're fine.
Padadu thing will actually be allowed to be used December 1st.
Do 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 do.
Go for it. I don't care. I actually don't care anymore. Now, if someone in chat
Hmm?
says don't do it,
Blonde.
it's after Halloween, and I told people to wait until after Halloween, so.
That
Alright, Alpaca
doesn't
said no.
count because I didn't say nothing, bitch. No. He has this rule. I'm only allowed to do it once a month before Christmas.
Well, I think this was your once a month now, wasn't it?
I didn't say nothing.
You
It's also
started.
to the same tune as Jingle Bells.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm safe.
Because the moment that I make it where you can use the Padadu thing on Triggerfire, it's going to get spammed. And I have to figure out where my. I know he was thinking an alpaca. I know. I have to find out where my because I had like a reactive thing that you can actually go online and make your own version of a Padadu. I had one, and mine was carrying a bloody bag.
Oh,
Yes, you can do a bag. You
Nice.
can do a sled. It's a few different things. You can make. Uh, you can be in an elf outfit. You can be like a Mrs. Claus. You can be in a Santa outfit. It's actually kind of neat. Me and Sagrel will be doing that again on Panda. What'd you do? Would you like the eggnog to be an Irish coffee cup? Well, remember, Panda, I'm telling you, you have freedom on. I am giving you a lot of freedom here. Like artistic freedom.
Translation: pop off.
God damn it. My roommate Asher is making from scratch tomato soup and grilled cheese. Like he's
That
making
bitch.
the
Sound
bread,
affair.
he's making the tomato soup. Like I have the pictures. Oh my god. I'm not a fan of tomato soup, but this. God damn. Uh, the hell do I do?
What in the 2004?
I just want to see something. Oh, what the hell? What the
Yu-Gi-Oh
fuck
cards.
is going on?
Oh no, there's two of her. She's
Go
doubled.
away. Okay, I fixed it.
okay then.
I fixed it.
The wall was not there.
Anyway, um, so I'm probably going to close down stream so that way Saggle can have fun. I have to go to work at like, yeah, I know, right? I have to go to work at 7 in the morning, but I wanted to debut the new menu and which let's see, was it Witch's Brew? I have to make this bigger because we were talking about Odin and stuff. Sleipnir's Brew. Stop it. Sleipnir's Brew. Yeah, we did. And the Sleipnir's Brew is actually espresso. Iced Minotaur. Alchemist's brew. By the way, this is one of my favorite ones. I don't even have to tell you what it is.
Enslaved moisture.
Enslaved moisture. And then you have like Dr. Pepper, ginger ale, it's obvious. Essence of mandrake. Alright, so I've got that one. See the food menu, what do we not have? Skewered chimeran egg, which I should probably move that so you can see it better. Boom! Syrian Geralt swords. Hey, yo!
What you got there?
Not
It's
a
smoothie.
smoothie.
What do you got there? A smoothie.
No, well, I mean, it's a root. I mean, you can if you want to. Tiefling blood is tomato soup. Seaweed soup. Rogue's delight. Health kick. Try kick. Ah! Move. The brownie cake. Flower nymph mochi. Oread mochi. Cursed fairy mochi. That is a
That's
Legend of
kind of
Zelda.
customary.
That's a Legend of Zelda reference. So now everybody is seeing what all of the stuff on the menu is.
Navi is dead.
Actually, it's not Navi.
Kind
It's
of.
it's actually the cursed fairy, which I know the cursed fairy has a humanoid form, but we made it where you have like the typically evil whatever is like black and purple. So yeah, 3 mugs. 3 mugs of what? I'm not very familiar with the lore either. I don't have root beer. I have Dr. Pepper. Um, let's see. Drink menu. Um,
John, just stop. You are fine.
I'm sorry, but here's the drink menu. This is what we got. I got a. The hell is that? It's not that one.
I mean, this place is normally a cafe.
The goat has not escaped the shed. Trust me. Oh, yeah. No,
Hey, I don't live in a shed. I live in a forest.
no, you live in
We tried to
Panda's
keep him in
shed.
the shed. No, we tried to keep him in the shed, and then he ate it.
I don't have Oompa Loompa Strawberry Delight. This is the food menu.
Hmm.
Anybody else hungry now?
Yeah, I know,
I'm
right?
always
This is
hungry,
entirely your wife's fault.
and you love every bit of it.
I fucking do. And I paid for it, and you know what? It was very much so worth it. Fey Portal.
I
Alright.
chicken and waffles.
I
Man,
wish.
this one's all
Fey
good.
Portal.
That does sound good. Frank was so Dr. Mad Love. Okay.
you, you know there is actually technically another food item here that isn't on the menu, and it's been roasting this whole time.
I know,
I
right?
know. I'm super crispy. At this point, I'm just enjoying the pain.
Garata, I'm going to refund your points because I'm actually getting ready to end stream. So, um, but yeah, so go ahead and,
Three tickets to the Super Bowl.
since you're trolling
Hate
so
me
hard,
now.
I'm tempting to actually accept those points. However, Panda, please refund those points because it's not an actual. Please refund
That's what you
Jenga
do.
too, please.
Tenga,
Like,
really?
at
No,
this point, I
it's
think they know what
alright.
they're doing.
It's alright. Just make sure to give them their points back. Okay, give your points back so that way you can order it the next time we stream, which will probably it's either going to be tomorrow or it's going to be Monday. No. What's today? Today is Friday. So it's either going to be tomorrow, which is Saturday, or Sunday. So keep your points so that way you can order it when you get back. Because at the moment, there's only 2 of the ramens that's been ordered. Yeah, I've been trying to get you into stream because then we probably could have figured out something to do. But I I don't know what to do.
Well, and then also, as you were saying, you have work in the morning.
I do. Did I put you to sleep, Jenga?
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, one with cheese, and a large soda.
All right. Let's find somebody to raid. By the way. Okay,
Shout out
Panda.
to
What the
anyone who
hell
actually
is
gets
that?
that.
Ooh. Yeah, she's going
Oh,
ham right now.
This is cinnamon.
I saw.
Oh, cinnamon something.
All right, so let me find somebody to raid.
Hmm.
I saw
I don't deal with Karens
only
here,
swear I'm up in the good.
so no, thank you. Fuck.
He is the manager.
I'm the owner.
I'm a Go King.
Close
He's
enough.
a garlic lord, and she's the owner. So
Why'd she
Dark
let us
Pixie
in?
is
Fuck it,
also
we know.
streaming. You can file a complaint.
You know what we do with the complaints? Feed him to the goat.
Yeah,
yum.
alright, so we're gonna go raid Dark Pixie, and it was Dark Pixie's husband that actually originally um designed our logo. So yeah, they're actually pretty cool. So I'm gonna send you guys over there, and don't forget to say Fey Raid, and I will see you guys later. See you guys.
Wherever